Okay, picture this. You're in a shopping mall, but not the Saturday afternoon version with the screaming kids and the smell of cinnamon buns.
Yeah.
I'm talking about right as it's closing. The shutters are half down, the janitors are bringing out those massive floor polishers, and the music, that generic pop music, just cuts out.
It's an eerie feeling. A building like that is designed for thousands of people, so when you just take them away, the architecture itself feels wrong.
Yeah,
It
bro.
feels like the whole building is holding its breath.
Exactly. It feels like you've clipped out of reality a little bit,
Yeah.
like you're seeing the set after the actors have gone home. Now imagine you weren't supposed to be there. Imagine you're specifically breaking the rules just to see what happens when the lights go all the way out.
And that is the classic allure of urban exploration, isn't it? We're naturally drawn to these spaces that exist on the boundary of functionality. They're sometimes called liminal spaces.
Thresholds.
Exactly, thresholds.
Right.
When a public space becomes private or a daytime space enters the night, the rules of reality can often feel
Yeah.
thinner.
Thinner is a polite way to put it. Today's deep dive is strictly for those of you who have ever looked at an elevator panel and wondered, hey, why is there a gap between floor 3 and floor 5?
Or, what happens if I press the button that isn't lit up?
We're unpacking a source text titled The Ghostly Inventory of the Fourth Floor. And let me be clear right from the start. This isn't just a spooky campfire story. It is a harrowing, really specific account of a glitch in reality.
It's a fascinating, if terrifying case study. What we have here is a text that documents the experience of three friends, Arav, Kabir, and Neha, at a place called Sunshine Mall.
And our mission today is to analyze that transition.
Yes, the transition from the mundane to the impossible. We aren't just recounting a ghost story. We're trying to look at the logic of a trap. Because make no mistake, this environment was designed to catch something.
So let's set that scene. We have Sunshine Mall. By day, the source describes it as a hub of crowds, noise, and light.
Your typical bustling commercial center. Food court, cinema, you know the type.
But the source is very specific about the timestamp. After 10:30 p.m., the mall is completely closed. Dead silence.
And that time is crucial. 10:30 p.m. acts as a hard threshold. The source mentions that Arav and his two friends, Kabir and Neha, sneak past security to get in.
So we have to look at their motivation here. Why? Why are they doing this? They aren't thieves. They aren't vandals.
They're not there to steal sneakers, no.
No, they're there for something more valuable in the modern economy. Clout. They are content creators, or at least they're trying to be. The source says their goal was the Haunted Mall Challenge.
Which is such a specific cultural artifact of our time, isn't it? This desire to manufacture a scary experience for an audience.
To package fear into a 60-second clip.
Exactly. They're thinking about lighting and angles and filters. They aren't thinking about survival.
Right, they're treating the environment as a backdrop, not a threat. They want the aesthetic of a haunted place, not the reality of it.
There's a heavy irony there. They're looking for a performance of horror. But what they find doesn't follow the rules of social media. It follows a much older, darker logic.
So they get in, sneak past the guards. And at first, it's honestly kind of boring.
Right. Nothing
The
happens.
source walks us through their ascent. They check the ground floor. Totally fine, just dark. They go to the first floor. Normal. Second and third floors.
Just empty shops and polished floors reflecting the emergency lights.
Everything is exactly as it should be.
And this is what we call the false sense of security. It establishes a baseline of normalcy. If the horror had started right at the front door, if there was blood on the walls or screaming immediately, they would have turned back.
Of course.
But the building allows them to get comfortable. It lures them deeper. It's the anglerfish dangling the light.
And then comes the turning point. They get into the elevator. Now, usually elevators in a 3-story mall only go to, 3.
Right.
But they see a button for the 4th floor.
And this is the first real break in logic.
Yeah.
Why is there a button?
Right. Usually if a floor is off limits, you need a key card, or the button it doesn't do anything. But they press it, and the elevator actually moves. And this is where the details in the text get incredibly specific and creepy. The elevator opens with a cheerful ding. You know that sound?
Oh, yeah.
That happy little chime that usually means, you have arrived at the food court, enjoy your pizza.
In this context, that ding is almost mocking. It's a mechanical welcome to a place that shouldn't exist. It's the building keeping up the pretense of customer service while delivering them into a nightmare.
And the source notes, too, immediate sensory changes the moment that elevator door slides open.
First, the tech fails.
Instantly, the mobile network just vanishes.
Which is the ultimate horror for a Gen Z protagonist, right? You can't live stream if you have no signal.
It kills the challenge immediately, but more importantly, it isolates them. It cuts the tether to the outside world. It's the classic bridges out moment, but for the digital age. Precisely. They are now in a closed system. But the second detail is the one that really signals the shift in reality.
This is Neha's line.
Yeah. Neha whispers something terrifying. She says, "This floor isn't even on the mall's map."
And that's the uh-oh moment.
Yeah.
That's when you realize you aren't just trespassing, you're exploring uncharted territory. You are standing on physical concrete, looking at shops, but the diagram of reality says you are floating in empty air.
It creates this cognitive dissonance. Your eyes tell you one thing, here's a floor, here are shops, but your knowledge of the building says it's impossible.
And let's look at the visual inventory of this fourth floor. The source describes it as having empty shops with shutters that are inexplicably open.
Yeah, that stood out to me. Usually when a mall closes, the shutters come down. Cling. Locked. But here, they're open.
It's inviting them in.
But the shops are empty. Well, mostly empty. This is where we get to the mannequins.
Ah, yes, the mannequins. This is where the atmosphere shifts from just empty to actively hostile.
The source doesn't just say there were mannequins. It says they weren't just standing there. It describes them as staring.
Okay, let's unpack that.
Yeah.
Because mannequins don't have eyes. Or if they do, they're just painted plastic. So
Yeah.
how can they be staring?
Exactly. It has to be the posture, right? The way they're angled.
It's the uncanny valley effect,
Right.
but weaponized.
Hmm.
A mannequin is supposed to be a neutral object, a clothes hanger in the shape of a person.
Right.
When the text attributes the action of staring to them, it implies consciousness. It implies that these plastic shells are observing the intruders. It shifts the dynamic from Arav, Kabir, and Neha being the observers to them being the observed.
I hate that. I hear everything about that. It's like when you feel someone watching you in a dark room, but it's just a pile of laundry on a chair. Except here, the laundry is 6 feet tall and shaped like a person.
A very good analogy.
And just as they're processing this, the open shutters, the staring plastic people, they get interrupted. A voice from behind them says, "The store is closed."
This is the introduction of the security guard. Again, pay attention to the details. Old uniform, dust on the shoulders.
And no nameplate.
No nameplate. That's a huge red flag. Every security guard has a nameplate. It's standard. But this guy is anonymous.
Yeah.
He's just function. He isn't a person. He's the enforcer of the floor.
And the interaction here is the pivot point of the entire narrative. The friends are caught. They're scared. Kabir, trying to be the rational one, asks the guard for the exit. He says, "Brother, the way down."
He's trying to appeal to the guard's humanity. Just let us go down.
And the guard's response, this is the line that stuck with me the most. He doesn't say, "Take the stairs," or "The elevator's over there." He just says,
Not down. Now only up.
"Now only up." That phrase just, it chills me.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this isn't a directional instruction. It's a declaration of their state of being. Down represents the ground, the street, safety, the known world. Down is reality.
And he's saying that's not an option.
By saying not down, the guard is sealing the exit. It's kind of bureaucratic horror. I'm sorry, sir, your reality is no longer available at this time.
And now only up. What is up? The roof, the sky, heaven.
I don't think it's heaven. I think up implies further into the anomaly, an ascension away from the real world. He's telling them they have entered a one-way system. The trap is snapped shut.
And almost as if on cue, the moment the guard says that, the environment reacts. The source says, suddenly, all the mannequins turned at once.
Synchronization. This is a key concept in supernatural horror. In nature, when a flock of birds turns at once, it's because they share a hive mind or a singular instinct. When inanimate objects do it,
It means they're not inanimate.
right, it signifies that the entire floor is a single living organism. The mannequins, the guard, the shops, they aren't separate things. They're all part of the same entity. The fourth floor is the monster.
And then the sound starts tap, 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 tap. Footsteps, but not running, walking.
Auditory horror is so effective here because of the rhythm. It suggests a slow, deliberate approach. They aren't being rushed at. They're being stalked. It implies the entity knows it doesn't need to run. It has them.
Neha screams. Chaos breaks out. The three friends scatter. And this is where the source zooms in on Arab's perspective. He runs. He's young. He's fit. He should be able to find a fire exit or something.
But the text describes a loop. He runs down the corridor, but he isn't getting anywhere.
The geometry just collapses. The source says he keeps passing the same shop, the same board, the same guard.
That's the stuff of nightmares. You run 100 meters, lungs burning, only to realize you haven't moved an inch.
It's what some people call non-Euclidean geometry.
Exactly. Okay, so think of it like a glitched video game level. You know when you run to the edge of the map and the background just repeats?
Oh, yeah, I hate that. You pass the same tree, the same rock, over and over.
It's rubber banding. Arav is expending energy, his muscles are burning, he's terrified. But spatially, the corridor is just generating itself in front of him to keep him trapped. It's a treadmill. The faster he runs, the more the floor extends. It's designed to exhaust him.
And it works. The source says Arav eventually collapses from the sheer impossibility of it all. He blacks out. And frankly, I don't blame him. I would have passed out way back at the staring mannequins.
This blackout serves as a narrative cut. We fade to black, and then we have the harsh cut to the next scene.
The morning after.
And the contrast is vital here. We go from the artificial, dim, claustrophobic atmosphere of the fourth floor to the bright, open, chaotic reality of the morning.
Arav wakes up outside the mall. The sun is up. The police are there. It's the real world again. And the first thing the police officer asks him is, "How are you alive?"
That is a heavy question. It implies that survival is the anomaly, not the expectation.
Arav is confused. He's probably thinking, I just got chased by mannequins. What do you mean, how am I alive? But then the officer drops the statistics. And this is where the source moves from a personal story to a tragic history.
The officer reveals that in the last 5 years, 17 people have gone missing.
17 people. That's a serial killer level of body count.
Specifically, 17 people who went to the fourth floor. But here is the piece of information that breaks the logic completely. The officer confirms, and this is the police, the voice of authority in reality, that Sunshine Mall never physically had a fourth floor.
Okay, let's stop and think about that. Structurally, architecturally, the building stops at floor 3.
Correct. The blueprints, the construction permits, the elevator schematics, they all stop at 3.
So when they were in that elevator and they pressed 4 and the doors opened, where were they?
That is the million-dollar question. If the space doesn't exist in our physical reality, they stepped into a pocket dimension, a parasitic space that mimics the mall but operates on completely different rules.
And the fact that 17 people are missing implies that the space is hungry. It consumes.
It consumes.
And Arav is the one that got away. Or did he? Because the source doesn't end with him safe and sound, drinking tea with the police officer. It ends with a twist that changes everything.
It does. Arav points up. He looks at the facade of the mall, the exterior where the branding is.
He points with a trembling finger. And where it used to say Sunshine Mall, there is a new light blinking. A new signboard that wasn't there yesterday.
Fourth floor, now open.
That gave me chills reading it.
Yeah.
The mall is advertising the anomaly. It's flaunting it.
It suggests the trap has evolved. Before, it was a hidden floor you had to find, a
Sure.
secret. Now it's declaring itself open. It's becoming part of the public establishment.
But the final visual detail is the most disturbing part of this entire inventory. Arav looks into the window of this new, impossible floor. He can see it from the street, and he sees them installing a new mannequin.
And the face of the mannequin.
Arav watches the workers, or whatever they are, lifting this figure into the display. They adjust the arms, they tilt the head, and then sunlight hits the face. It looks exactly like Arav.
But I don't think it just looks like him. The implication is that it's a perfect cast. The scar on his chin, the terror in the eyes.
So what does this all mean? We have Arav standing on the sidewalk, and we have Arav in the window. Is the Arav outside the real Arav?
That is the comfortable interpretation. That he escaped, but the mall took his image as a trophy. It copied him to stock its shelves. Inventory, as the title suggests.
That's the best case scenario. That's horrifying, but what's the other option?
The other option is much, much darker. The other option is that the Arav standing outside isn't Arav.
Wait, you mean the thing talking to the police?
Think about it. The mannequin in the window has the expression of terror. It's frozen in the moment of capture. Maybe the real Arav never left the loop. He is still up there, frozen in plastic, while a facsimile copy created by the mall walks out into the world.
So the survivor is actually the inventory escaping.
Or spreading. If the mall creates a copy for every victim, where are the other 17? Are they walking among us?
That brings a whole new meaning to now only up. Maybe up meant out, into our world. And consider this. Maybe he never woke up at all.
A simulation.
Maybe the morning, the police officer, the safety, maybe that is just another level of the fourth floor's torture. To make him believe he's safe before pulling the rug out again.
That would explain why the officer knew so much about the fourth floor, despite saying it didn't exist.
Oh, that makes my head hurt. It's a loop within a loop.
But I keep coming back to the word inventory. A mall is a place of consumption. We go there to buy things. We treat objects as commodities. But in Sunshine Mall, the building consumes you. You are the product.
It turns the consumer into the consumed. It's a complete inversion. You aren't the shopper, you're the merchandise.
Precisely. And the fact that the sign changed to now open after Arav's visit suggests that the collection might finally be ready for public viewing. Or perhaps they just had a grand opening for the new arrival.
I am never going to a mall after 8 p.m. again. I'm sticking to online shopping. But even then, who knows who's packing the boxes?
Let's not add to the paranoia. But there is a serious takeaway here about observation. Neha noticed the map. She noticed the discrepancy. In a world of information overload, we often ignore the details that don't fit.
We just assume.
We assume the elevator knows where it's going. We assume the floor number is real because it's written on a button.
We run on autopilot, and this story is a violent warning to switch to manual control when things feel wrong. When the air changes, when the sounds stop, when the ding of the elevator sounds a little too cheerful.
It's about trusting your instincts over the architecture. If a place feels like it shouldn't exist, don't walk into it. Don't press the button just to see what happens.
And definitely don't try to film a reel about it. The Haunted Mall Challenge was a success, technically. They found the ghosts. But the cost was way, way too high.
Indeed. They went looking for content and became the content.
We are coming to the end of this deep dive into the ghostly inventory of the fourth floor. It's a story that stays with you, especially that image of the mannequin with your own face, staring back at you from a window that shouldn't be there.
It certainly raises questions about the nature of the spaces we inhabit. We build these massive concrete structures, but we rarely understand the feel of them once the lights go out.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. The sign changed to now open, and the new mannequin was installed. If that mannequin is Arav and there are 17 missing people, that means there are at least 17 other custom mannequins up there.
A full collection.
Exactly. So next time you are in a crowded elevator, maybe in an office building or a hotel, and you see a button for a floor that doesn't seem to correspond to the directory, maybe a B3 in a building with no basement, or a 13 in a building that skips from 12 to 14. Ask yourself this. Is it just a wiring mistake? Or is the store simply announcing that they have space for one more item in their inventory?
And are you willing to press the button to find out?
I think I'll take the stairs. Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Stay curious, stay safe, and check the map before you get off the elevator.